Never mess with a single person, especially a globally wanted man. Faced with successive provocations from his opponents, today's incident finally made Red unbearable, and he decided to end everything within 72 hours. Reports of a shooting at a hospital blasted the internet this morning. After a man saw it, he hurried out the door, but when he arrived at the scene, his wife told him it was a prank. What has actually happened? When everyone was stunned, Raymond understood everything in an instant when he learned about it. He guessed that this was another trick played by Wu Jing, from hiring trolls to release fake news, to misleading the media, to recording by law enforcement agencies. This is obviously the usual method of former Blacklist member troll farmer Robert. But what exactly this has to do with targeting himself still requires an in-depth investigation by the action team. Donald and others lived up to expectations. After checking the alarm records during the incident, they found that a cleaner in the hospital where the incident occurred called the police. He said he saw someone pry open a car in the parking lot, but when the police arrived, the car was gone. The ordinary if there are financial thefts. According to the investigation, the owner of the car is Flynn, a senior aide to Congressman Mike. That is, the man. And this is where things start to look. But the question is, what are those people trying to steal his car? I'm afraid this can only be known by finding Flynn, but on the way to the two of Donald, there was a sudden news that the building where Flynn worked was on fire. Obviously, this is another fake news released by Robert, and it also means that Donald and the others are already one step too late. Soon after, the two met Flynn and Congressman Mike. After repeatedly emphasizing the seriousness of the incident, they finally learned the details of the incident. At the time, Mike was in a secret meeting with the NSA, where a new cyber weapon, the Huxroot, was demonstrated. It can penetrate any cyber defenses and hide in any computer network. But just when he was about to introduce in detail, the fire alarm in the building suddenly sounded. For this reason, they had to evacuate according to regulations. But just as they passed the stairs, a group of gangsters surrounded them from front to back, and Huxroot was snatched away by them. Donald couldn't help feeling helpless that such a powerful weapon fell into the hands of others. After that, Donald talked with the security department of the building and found out that the reason Robert was able to enter the secret meeting place was that he had stolen Flynn's ID card authentication. From this point of view, it was also for this reason that he pried the car before. But what's more serious is that now that Huxroot has been robbed, no one can imagine what will happen, so they must find him as soon as possible. And that's when Dem learned from NSA officials that hidden locators had been embedded in the metal box in Huxroot. Although the other party refused to tell the specific situation, Dem quietly saw the coordinates on the screen. For this reason, the two took the lead in raiding there, successfully arrested Robert, and took Huxroot back. Soon after, Rhodes from the National Security Bureau came to the base. Cooper returned Huxroot and introduced Robert's past experience, but did not say a word about Wu Jing, the instigator behind the scenes. At the same time, in the interrogation room, Donald was asking Robert why he robbed Huxroot, but at this moment, Robert's mood was extremely angry. He worked for Raymond for 3 years, helping Raymond and Leeds escape the whole hunt. But in exchange, he was betrayed by Raymond and went to prison, so the cooperation with Wu Jing is not his fault at all. Although Robert refused to speak, Dem could see that deep down in his heart, he still had a fear of Raymond. In addition, combined with the previous bin, it is known that Wu Jing's purpose is to dig out the inside story of Raymond's cooperation with the Bureau of Investigation, so the focus on Huxroot this time was obviously aimed at the network system of the action team, because it contains all the case files and interrogation techniques, as well as the most important Raymond's immunity agreement. Speaking of which, Donald couldn't imagine what would happen to these leaks, so they interrogated Robert again to tell him exactly when and where the delivery would take place. At the same time, the two cooperated. Since Robert believed they were working with Raymond, Raymond will definitely know everything mentioned here, including Changhua helping the operation team capture Wu Jing, and that's enough to keep Robert from being retaliated by Raymond. Apparently it worked. Changbo said that the delivery time is 4 p.m., and the location is Madison Park in the northeast. After that, Cooper made a plan of action and set off to the park to set up. Robert, on the other hand, wore a fake hux route and waited for the target to show up. Unexpectedly, when the appointed time came, it was Ben who appeared in front of Robert. This made everyone confused for a while. If Wu Jing is watching from a distance, acting now will reveal the plan. Even Alban will run away if he doesn't act. So, after thinking about it, Donald chose to catch Alban first, but as soon as he got close to him, he was pushed down, and Alban snatched a flatbed and escaped. After breaking away from Dem's pursuit, he quickly ran to the side of the road, and Diver was already waiting there. Diver, who broke out halfway, made Sia furious. Diver who let Ben go last time, but it was him this time. However, it was not only Sia who did not expect, even Ben was very surprised. Diver is still helping Wu Jing, but at the same time, Ben was also flustered, and now he went to see Wu Jing empty-handed. He didn't know what he was going to face. Surprisingly, the panic dissipated after a few minutes as they were brought into Raymond's presence. Not long after, Raymond called Sia, told her that he would give her a big gift, and then sent an address. Apparently, the so-called great gift is none other than Diver, who betrayed the organization and shot Sia. Raymond then contacted Cooper, who was not happy that he had acted this time without telling him. Cooper also had something to say about this, because Raymond also didn't tell him when he found Diver. In addition, he wanted to know what Raymond's plan was for taking Ben away, because legally speaking, he couldn't let Raymond kill Ben or Wu Jing, although Robert was successfully arrested and returned. After inspection by the National Security Bureau, it was found that Huxroot was no longer in the original system. Therefore, Cynthia gave Robert two options: either retrieve Huxroot and at the same time assist in catching Wu Jing, the mastermind behind the scenes, or just taste the pressure of the entire USA, what it feels like to be on a hacker. After all, Cynthia is limited to 2 hours. When the time is up, if he still does not cooperate, he will be directly handed over to the CIA Black Cell for enhanced interrogation. After that, Robert was brought back to the post office base again after being transported in a closed escort vehicle and passed a series of identity authentications such as face and fingerprints. And as the elevator door opened, he saw Raymond, who had come here first. This convinced him that what Wu Jing said was true. At the same time, it was precisely because of the conversation at this moment that he had the idea that he must escape. For this reason, when Donald interrogated him, he deliberately put on a foolish attitude and avoided answering all questions. Then, when Dem knocked on the door to ask about the progress of the interrogation, he quietly hid the paper clip on the folder. Then when Donald left the interrogation, he used a paper clip to unlock the handcuffs, and used it to create a short circuit in the safety lock, and finally reset the password and successfully opened the door. Sia passing by found Robert fleeing, so Deng immediately blocked the entire base, and then turned on the surveillance to search around. A short time later, Robert was found fleeing into the East Aisle. To this end, Donald and Dem quickly went to arrest. However, due to the time difference, Robert eventually smashed the door and escaped from the base. But strangely, at this time, Donald, Cooper and others showed sly smiles. It turned out that everything was Raymond's plan. Even Cynthia didn't know it, and this base is a 1:1 copy of the real base. Wu Jing has been looking for evidence of Raymond's cooperation with the Investigation Bureau, and knows that these can only be found at the post office base. It was only because he didn't know the address that he didn't do it all the time. Therefore, the day Raymond learned that Wu Jing was inquiring about him, he started the work of duplicating the post office base, and Cooper took Robert to meet Cynthia in the morning, in order to bring him here after the meeting. As for Robert's smooth escape, it was an opportunity deliberately created by Donald and Sia's help in opening the security lock of the interrogation room, and the most important fire extinguisher was placed there deliberately by Raymond. Now that Robert has escaped, he will definitely tell Wu Jing the address immediately. Wu Jing couldn't help but want to act immediately, so what Cooper had to do was to send people to wait at the fake base. As expected, Robert found Wu Jing. After confirming that Robert didn't have a bug, Wu Jing really couldn't wait to start making a raid plan. At the same time, in the fake post office, Cooper also transferred a large team. Now, everything is ready, just waiting for Wu Jing to deliver it to her door. But as night fell, when the two forces started to act separately, something unexpected happened. Because after the two sides were ready to meet the enemy, it was not Wu Jing who was waiting on Cooper's side, and there was not even a single figure on Wu Jing's side. Feel a little joy while panicking. So, he immediately asked Robert to use the Huxroot overlay system to upload all the required materials to his server. And just then, he saw Raymond's hat on the table in front of him. This made the hatred in his heart burst out instantly. But in the next second, Wu Jing was attacked. It turned out that this was Raymond's real plan. Today, Wu Jing is dead, but his actions continue. Sivan in front of him, so after confirming that Cooper hadn't moved, he decided to have a good chat with Sivan. First of all, when confronted with questioning, he admitted that he did cooperate with the Bureau of Investigation, but he stresses that in the criminal world, any underground organization has ties to law enforcement. It's just that he's the one that does it best. Moreover, he provides those blacklists because even people who make a living from crime have lines that cannot be crossed. They also have a corresponding code of conduct, and those people violated these. Therefore, they no longer have the right to free movement. In addition, they should be grateful that they were caught by law enforcement, because if it was in his hands, they would be even more miserable than they are now. After saying this, Raymond threw an olive branch to Sivan and told him what benefits he would get from cooperating with him. And now it's up to Sivan to decide. Finally, Sivan agreed. Sven's problem is solved. Only Zhang is left. He is the best ally with Wu Jing because he knows that many innocent people died. Raymond didn't want to waste bullets on him either. After all, he had just hired a team. Not long after, the people who rushed back to the base saw the bodies of Wu Jing and Zhang, and found that the surveillance cameras of the past 6 hours had been erased. Cooper guessed that Raymond might have done it, but since there was no direct evidence, he couldn't tell. Just then, Raymond took the initiative to call. After the call was connected, Cooper did not speak for a long time, and Donald asked him why he did so straight to the point. In this regard, Raymond said that Wu Jing's wrong pursuit only made everyone discover a bigger problem. That is, the post office base has always been a burden. He has also noticed this for a long time. He has tried to accept or ignore it, but now he has to make a decision. As for Robert, it was because he guessed that Ma Wen would put him on the list, and Wu Jing also needed his help in cracking the base system. Therefore, he found Robert in advance and confessed the secret of his cooperation with the Bureau of Investigation, and then reached a cooperation agreement with him. This also explains why Robert brought Wu Jing to the real base after he escaped from the fake base. In this regard, Raymond said that it was to protect Cooper and others, so that they would not have anything to do with the shooting of Wu Jing. But now a new question arises. To get rid of Wu Jing, why choose here? But Raymond said he needed Robert and their network. Hearing this sentence, everyone felt bad. Sia immediately went to check the system files, only to find that all files related to Raymond had been deleted. Cooper is very angry. People, they are not Reddington Special Operations Group, but the FBI Department of Justice will never allow this to happen. But Raymond didn't care about the Justice Department. He cared about Cooper and the entire team. In this regard, Cooper also said that the Attorney General knew that they could not control Raymond, but he believes that what he does is necessary, so he has always maintained a balance from it. He can tamper with the archives of the Investigation Bureau and kill people in the conference room during combat. He can't help, even if he tries. How long can he last in the end? Where will this matter develop? Follow me and see you next time.